What's up, suckers? Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I am going to kind of pause on the hour-long breakdown video because it eventually just is me repotting a lot of plants. And as cool as it would be to watch me repot plants and then listen to me try to break down what I'm doing, why I'm doing it for specific succulents and whatnot, it's going to be mundane and boring. So I'm actually going to tap into one of my succulents that is in dire need of help, and that's where we're going to start or continue with these videos. Um, it's a quartet. It's I do believe they are from the same parent plant. At least when I got them, I think that's what they were. They started out relatively medium. They grew a little bigger. I had them as 4, and now I'm gonna have to unfortunately break them because they have already endured too much moisture over last summer, and then especially with this windstorm that just kicked through, majority of them aren't attached to their stalk anymore. They've completely fallen off, but they're still growing. So if I can either start on propagations with the leaves or behead them and then just start them from there, or try to save them. That's what this video is going to be. So that's where we'll continue the madness. Um, this is my new sidekick. His name is Tri-Tip. He's currently sunning. He's enjoying the sun that we finally have. It is a little warm, slightly brisk because of wind, but where I'm sitting right now, I am currently sweating, so I'm sure he's loving this. Yeah, he's feeling that. He'll start popping in and out of my videos. I'll have him either on my head or wherever he feels like being, at least for the intro. He won't help me plant because I will just lose him in the greenery. So tune in, come along, let's go get dirty. Alright, here we go. Pardon the kids. Alright, so I've said it a couple times, talked about beheading succulents. When I was creating Reddit videos, if any of you are from Reddit, shout out. When I was creating Reddit videos, I often talked about beheading my succulents, and a lot of people were very concerned, just simply because when you talk about beheading something, especially with plants, you assume that, like, death, just instantaneous death. And so I had to reassure my followers that not exactly. Cool thing with succulents, again, is that they're easily rejuvenation, and they rely on neglect. I'm just finding my old soil here from the last couple videos that I completely dumped all over the floor. Whoops. So I'm going to start out with a very small pot here. A couple of these guys, found this actually in a bucket overturned after my windstorm, so I had to try and bring these guys back. Didn't exactly do a very good job with resuscitating a lot of these, so, and then again, don't want old roots, so I'm just gonna kind of make a baby pot so I can behead one of these guys. The other two here are completely black, but this one still has some life in it, so we're gonna behead it. Now, interesting thing currently is that because it's like guesstimation 39, 40-ish degrees currently, once I behead this guy, he'll go into his little period of shock. I'm gonna have to soak him because he's got a couple nights. So when you go to behead your succulent, and again, okay, so I'll kind of break down why I behead these guys. First off, as you can see, there's no roots, but it's still alive, it's still living, because there's still a lot of water running through the xylem and phloem in each and every leaf, and a couple of these leaves are brand stinking new, so that's what we're going to care for on this one. As far as the quartet goes, as far as this guy goes, this is a woody base, so you want to break off bottom rung of leaves, Pretty sure that's a spider. If you're a spider, I'm glad. Yes, you are. We'll be very careful with you then. And then I've got a couple baby leaves that I can, obviously you can't see that. Got a couple baby leaves I can actually turn into propagations. And then I still want a root. I still want enough root to provide, or enough base to provide root when it does take off, but I don't want too much. And then just like you do when you clip your roses and put them in a base, even though they're so obviously dead. Hi, beautiful. Oh, you are so cute. I am going to be so careful with you. So that's about, you know, about 2 digits of my finger. And that'll so obviously give us enough room to just sprout him right there. And he'll barely be peeking out of the pot. I also don't want immediate full sunshine, because if he is going to go through his small period of shock, I want to give him enough base to grow a root, and then once that root takes off, I don't want it to take off and then be completely root bound, because that's the fault of mine. And I have a tiny one here. I'm going to just take off the smallest part. This one wasn't even attached to the dirt anymore, so no big thing. Yeah. I don't know if I actually want to put this in there, because that's not a spider web. I will keep this guy off to the side, because it actually looks like mites. I don't want mites in my new plant, so we'll put this guy off to the side. You guys can hold that for me, but I'll keep it separated from my propagations. And then we still want the tag. That way, as it grows, I can pay attention to it. And there is our beheaded succulent alongside with our propagations. A couple of these leaves actually look like they will take off, so I'm quite happy with that. I'll probably have to briefly take care of that. Oh yeah, I got rid of my big pot with my spoiled soil, so we'll just put it over here off to the side. And then when I go to reuse some of this soil, again, I want to make sure there's no root system in it, just because it could hinder. It'll tell these succulents that there's another succulent in here, and it'll kind of try to be competitive. And right now I just want them to survive, so no competition, please. Alrighty, so we'll kind of pull this guy out. Be very gentle with it. I have this tray actually. And that way we can also investigate. This isn't going to be too long of a video, because I'm literally just going to be investigating, pulling it apart, and putting it back into soil if I can help it. This guy is already propagating, so there's a little tiny baby and roots that you can actually see. My camera is focused enough, finally. After this particular storm hit, the very first one, the reason that these guys are even beheaded, something landed on top of them, all 4 of them, so they all went bloop, and none of them have their roots anymore. But like I said, they're still growing in the direction that when they fell, they're following the sun, just like sunflowers do. This one, well, it looks like this one did give me. This is trying to root. I'm kind of happy with it, so I'll put that there. That's a root. This one, that one's a root too. Wow. That was from a flower of something else. What a brat. Alright. I see. Now, currently the soil is incredibly wet, so anything I touch is going to come up wet. I want to see what this is. Now, before I attend to my succulents, I'm going to examine the soil and try to see if, like this guy. Okay, so interesting things about boring worms is that when they are when the babies are laid, they're almost laid in a webbing to surround them, and a lot of them get either misidentified by other insects or even the spiders that I want on my succulents, and so I end up with the issue of I have boring worms and no spiders because the webbing is just not exactly what they want. They don't want it. So 1 second here. I need a new pot to kind of break this down. There's no drainage at the bottom of this, so we're gonna do half and half. Oh, I just brought it out here. I need my little shovel. Going on an adventure.
So you're gonna edit me out of the video?
Yeah, I'll edit you into the video.
Soon there's going to be a plant side of the video and a pet side of the video.
I mean, I've already introduced tri-tips, so why not?
Right. Well, we got plants in there too. Some of your succulent plants got moved in there, so you can totally show that you can do that with some of your plants.
Yep. Introducing the pet side of planting. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. If there's even a root system left from these guys. That's perlite. That's what we want. Super dry soil, super wet soil. And no gloves. Casey, what are you doing? I just bought myself new gloves too. What? Pour that off to the side. So, for the sake of these particular quartet, I'm actually going to split them into 2 pots as I can, just simply because right now a couple of them are laying down and then the head is pointing directly up. So I can decide whether I'm going to, I'm so sorry, I've destroyed your home, I know, here, come here. I can decide whether I want to just behead them or let them continue growing the way that they are, seeing if I can just pull off the base leaves up to a point and then putting them back in the soil. And they will take over. Again, like I said, just a few minutes into this video, it is rather cold currently, so any temperature currently is just gonna provide them with a little bit of shock until they're ready to take off, but that's kind of what we want anyways. I wonder if the video can hear that. I'll investigate the video, but leave a goose down in the comments below if you can actually hear the geese. Just stare at me the whole time.
Crazy about my crazy succulent lady.
Alright, there's a weed. Boop. Yeah. It's currently too cold to have a chameleon out here. He would be quite angry with me. After I filmed my intro, he did not want to come off my shoulder, so we had to sit out in the sun for just a couple more minutes until he got too warm, and then I took him back inside. And the way that you can tell chameleons get too overheated is they'll actually open their mouths. And it's almost like a dog panting. They don't breathe in and out like quite rapidly, but it was quite comical to see him literally just look at me and go, "What's wrong, dude? You hot?" Alright, we'll start with this one. Currently, this is its root system, so I'm not going to further make it angry. going to pull off this base leaf because it's completely dead. There's no possible way of actual propagation with it. And propagation requires healthy to mostly healthy leaves and a very clean break from the stem, because that's where all the water comes in and is connected. So some of these might take off, some of these might not. If I can get them to take off, then I can have more of these. These do take an awfully long time to grow. I've had this guy for about 1.5 years now, and he is quite the slow grower, but again, at the same time, I had 4 of them growing in the same pot, and they were all connected by a single root system, so I kind of let them go. I see some aeration roots in here, dude. Did you finally realize that you fell off? You weren't quite happy with it? This is a pretty loose leaf. I might end up taking it off. Looking inside, I don't see any mites. I don't see any boring worms. I do see some some efforts of the local slug population trying to nibble on it, but other than that, and a baby spider. So we're gonna leave the spider, just like we always say we do. I'm gonna lean this guy up against the side that he's slightly exposed. If I feel it necessary with this particular one, I'll find a stick to lean him up against. That way he doesn't fall over again. So we certainly don't want that. That would be heartbreaking. Oh, goodness gracious. Just trying to stretch in my own backyard. Some of these rocks are sliding underneath me. There we go. Just a simple little tiny twig. Just enough to keep it up. Make sure I'm not resting it on the spider. I'd feel really bad if I scared a spider with a stick. Here you go, buddy. Stick. Okay, let's see. This is a tight base. Here we go. That's a good one to use as an example. So I'm just going to move on to this next one. Again, there's a spider that I don't want to disturb. That means there's no mites on here. This leaf has to come off, though. Ooh, I don't know if I like the look of that. Oh, that might not be good. Okay. That's dead. This is dead. That's dead. Doo, doo, doo. We're going to be very careful here. Just a little bit. Like I said, something landed on top of it, so I'm probably going to find other succulents stuff in it. That's not. Nope. Don't put the dead stuff with the good stuff. That is a root. That's a bad. That's a root, and that's a root, and that's a weed. We don't want that. Okay, here we go. This could propagate potentially. There's a lot of roots down here. This one doesn't have a root at all, but it is still very sturdy base, so I'll cut off a little bit more of this particular succulent. See if I can't either propagate these leaves down here, because they're still super healthy, just currently curved due to this succulent laying down on top of itself. If I can get them to easily pop off. That one was juicy. Yummy. Don't try this at home, kids. Or do, if you're adventurous like me. Okay, and I'm still very careful of where the spider is because I don't want to disturb him. I'd feel awful. Yeah, move into my succulents because I want you there, but then I'm going to just destroy you. There's another one. Perfect. Just save that guy. Give him a brand new succulent to make a home in. And that should be good. I'm going to take off this guy, though. He doesn't look too good. And then I've already trimmed this once. I'm going to do it once more now that it's finally sealed off. I want some healthy tip, not some black tip. Reef shark. That way... Okay. I just had my shovel and now I'm already trying to figure out. Okay, here we go. And then again, I'm so sorry. I totally poked you too. I just told you too that I was gonna be super careful, and I poked you. But you're still on the succulent, so we're good. And then, again, I want the other side of that stick. And I'm going to leave this one with the double prong because I want it to lean up against the side, but not on the same side as its counterpart sibling. Okay, I'm just going to hold it by the head and then push it into the base. And like I said, if a couple leaves fall off, oh well. Alrighty. And then a little bit more soil on top just to pack it in. Alrighty. And that's going to be the twins. We're going to break it up by 2. One of them is currently being supported by a stick, just so that way when it does finally grow out, because half of one side is slightly broken. So once it's strong enough and once it finally regrows roots, then I'll be able to put it in a bigger pot, taller pot maybe, and then pull the stick out. It'll be fine. Alright, and now I have 2 pots left. Now the reason I broke it down into 2 pots instead of pairing all 4 together is this guy is going to be our challenge. Now currently he is actively growing in the laying down position, and this one is growing up in the upward dog position, also laying down. Issue being that I'm gonna have to behead this one to get him to continue growing up, just like I did with the one that the root system was pointing one way and then the flower went all the way up and around. We had to eventually break that down. So this one, if I do this correctly, oh, I'm definitely not. Oh, I did. This one has roots, so I'm gonna put that in the root category. Now, again, I want super healthy. I'm gonna probably have to behead this completely. Oh, maybe not. I'll be really careful with this guy though, because he's gonna be my tender special succulent. Since he's growing in such a strange direction, he has a root coming out on this side, the direction that he was laying. He's got roots coming out almost pretty much all on the bottom side here, so that's almost gonna be comical. There's a little bit of death in here. I'm gonna move that. I'm trying to tell if this particular web I'm seeing is from that of a spider and it laid a couple egg sacs, or if it's a boring worm, and if I leave it, then I'm risking the succulent, but if I do remove it, then I'm probably saving myself a lot of trouble. You, my friend, are not a spider. You are just a basic gnat that is confused. Oh, now that I say it, I think it's it's styrofoam. Watch out, guys! There's eggs everywhere. They just happen to crunch like styrofoam. Oh my goodness. Oh, Casey. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, there are no bugs. There are no spiders. Oh, there you are. I was wondering. I found your nest. And there's a baby one underneath. It's so cute. If my phone could focus on something that tiny, I totally would take a picture, but oh well. Alright, we're just gonna pull off the couple dead leaves and one super stiff one. I can't believe that I thought. Because I saw the web and I assumed eggs, didn't realize it was styrofoam. That's awesome. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, you are just struggling, aren't you, dude? Let's put you on the inside. There we go. And then, since I'm not beheading this and there are roots already here, I'm literally just going to hardly cover the tip and set it on top and call it done. So that way the succulent can either decide whether it's growing from the actual stem itself and then grow roots like normal, or if it's going to just continue with its antics and grow roots underneath, in which case the stem could potentially become another one of these. So we'll leave that as the experiment. And there goes the net. It finally actually left. And now here's the last one. I actually don't need this giant pot for it if I'm just going to behead it. So I'm going to snag this guy. And that will leave me some soil left over for the next potential project. I'm so glad that I've been able to keep up with having my videos coming out on Sundays. Don't know what I'd do if it was another day. Another day, another succulent. Okay. And like I said, I'm going to behead this one, so I'm just filling it up to the top. Pretty small, pretty dirty. Oh my lord. Ah, goodness. Okay, there's enough soil. Alrighty. Let's go. Okay. And then I've got this stick still here, so I'm gonna dig a small hole right there, and then we're gonna behead you. You do have some coming off, but at this point I'm just gonna completely start you over. So I'm not pulling off any leaves before I cut it. I'm just gonna completely cut it and then pull them off after. This is still slightly at an angle. I could, again, get these guys to propagate. It is a healthy break. Potentially. You're not always guaranteed that it's gonna work out. I see ya. Don't worry about it. I'm not disturbing the rest of your web. I'm literally... Oh, okay. You don't wanna be on the succulent anymore? You gave up? You gave up on me? There you go. And then just one more. And I'm just pulling off some of the crazy material that got caught up with the wind. I should honestly cut it to there. I don't want to disturb these spiders too much, but I'm gonna at least pull this one off. You are the cutest, tiniest spider I've ever seen. Look at you. Oh my goodness. Are you sure? Here, let me flip you upside down for a second. Both of you. Get all caught up there. Yep. Okay. I'll assume either your mom or sibling. I've got some soil on my hands, so that's okay. Alrighty. Looks like 1, 2, 3. 3 spiders on this guy, so they'll keep this nice and safe. For sure. I'm holding it by the head, just so that way I don't scare these guys anymore. And then just literally setting it right on top. I'm not going to worry about covering it too much, just because, again, it's going to need some time to even come back. So, there you go. We've got rerooting, we've got rerooting, whatever that's doing, and then we've done beheading. So, tune in next time for a crazy adventure of I have no idea what I'm doing. Peace out, suckers.